Hello, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn for March, and it's a look into home life. And so I am James Inmon. I'm your host for today on this Lunch and Learn. I'm also the executive director here at Still Creek Ranch, and we're glad that you're joining us during your lunch hour today. And if you will, I'd like to call us into a time of prayer here for a moment about the home, and I'm going to read as a prayer for us to get started 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 29. If you'll pray with me over these words. Now therefore may it please you to bless the house of your servant, so that it may continue forever before you. For you, O Lord God, have spoken, and with your blessing shall the house of your servant be blessed forever. Amen. Well, we are taking a look into home life today, and I do have some special guests here with me today that I'll introduce to you here shortly. Before I do, let me just say that Still Creek Ranch, as we know it today, has been here since 1988. And at that time, there was only one home, a few boys, and a few horses. And Danny and Margaret O'Quinn were giving us a good start in 1988 using the Dansby home, as it was called at that time, as a place to raise boys from difficult circumstances. Now today, we have 6 homes. We're blessed to have 3 boys' homes and 3 girls' homes. Of those 6 homes, 4 of those are primary homes where children have primary house parents, and 2 of those homes, one on each the boys and girls side, serve as a relief home where our house parents get a much needed and deserved rest so that they can go back into the difficult job of raising children who come from crisis situations. We say we take children from crisis to new creation. Crisis including abuse, neglect, and abandonment, and we give them a home, we give them a school, and so much more that we'll be talking about today as well. So I mentioned we have the 6 homes, 3 boys' homes, 3 girls' homes. There are 32 beds available for residents here at Still Creek Ranch, and of course we are a therapeutic boarding school, so every child that lives here in our homes goes to school here at our private school as well, Still Creek Christian Academy. Well, that's a little bit of information about where we were with the one home and now with the 6. But let me also say that over time we've come to refine sort of who we are and who we can help. And so through strategic planning about 4 or 5 years ago, we decided that our intake age range would be a bit more refined to be children between the ages of 10 and 14 years of age. So sort of that late elementary time frame through early high school. And when children come to us between the ages of 10 and 14, however, we are looking at long-term placements. So we're looking at taking children through 18 years old and high school graduation, but also beyond that in the cases where a child is interested in having the help through college, through early career and technical school, or early entry into the workforce, in which case they can continue to stay in one of the 6 homes that we have as a big brother or sister, just one that happens to be in college now. And so that's a good look at the basics of who our children are, where they come from. Again, the common thread being that they have experienced some crisis, abuse, neglect, or abandonment. And we don't have kids here. I get questions all the time about kids who are troubled. That's not necessarily the best way to put it, in my opinion. We don't have kids that are bad kids. We have kids that have had bad things happen to them. And I have a counselor friend that says, really, if you look at behavior is always best understood in a child's context. So if we understand a child's context, we understand where the behavior comes from. Well, let me introduce to you here in just a moment Serena Logue. Serena is our new resident program director. If you received our March newsletter, then you have already seen an introduction to Serena there. And so before I introduce you to Serena, let me just say this about the newsletter. If you do not currently receive our newsletter, we'd love for you to go to stillcreekranch.org. You can actually look at that backslash there, or /monthly-newsletter. Or if it's easier right now for you just to remember, stillcreekranch.org and navigate the page, but /monthly-newsletter. And we'd love to either mail that to you, or you can sign up to receive that electronically online. Also, at this website and page, you can find archived newsletters that you can share with your friends and family, and we hope that you do. Well, that said, Serena Logue comes to us as an experienced house parent in the past with her husband, Steve, and also as an admin, as an administrator at the former children's home that she worked at. So we're so blessed to have her husband, Steve, and their 3 boys that have joined us here at the ranch as administrators. So Serena is joining us now, and we're just going to ask Serena to tell us a little bit about herself and how she came to be here at Still Creek Ranch. Hey, Serena.
Hey, James. Yeah. Well, I grew up in a beach town in New Jersey, but went out to California to attend college. And while I was out there, I met my husband. We had our own businesses for a while, but felt called into ministry. And so about 10 years ago now, we, along with our 3 sons, entered the world of residential childcare. And we were house parents, like you mentioned, for many years. Enjoyed working with both adolescent girls and boys. And then we also served at a maternity home where we helped teen girls who were facing crisis pregnancies. Like you mentioned, I've moved more into the administrative side of things for the past 3 years. And the Lord has led us here to Still Creek, and it's been about 2 months now. So it's all still very new, but it has been nothing but a positive experience from the start. My children attend the school, Still Creek Christian Academy. My 2 older boys are on the basketball team, and they're still celebrating our big state championship win that we won last weekend. And like you mentioned, the Lord unexpectedly opened up an opportunity for my husband to join the staff as the maintenance director. And so we just have been so thankful to have become a part of the Still Creek family.
Absolutely. And we're so glad that y'all are here. Mimi, Roseanne Cunningham, our volunteer coordinator, earlier today, I heard her say that we have definitely leveled up, as how she put it, as an organization, because we have Steve and Serena here with us. Serena, can you tell us how you see your role and your job as the resident program director?
Yeah, my focus is the day-to-day operations of the residential side of Still Creek. I offer support to our house parents, and that's really what I try to focus my day on, is how can I support our house parents through meetings, trainings, and sometimes just being a listening ear.
Sure.
I do the scheduling. Like you said, house parents have regular scheduled time off, and so I coordinate all the homes for the scheduling. I build relationships with the kiddos and many times their families. I am a part of the interview process. So when we have a prospective new resident, I'm part of that process. And I, a lot of times, will follow up with that child and their family and try to get, when we do bring in a new resident, one of my focuses is just making sure that the child becomes acclimated well in his first couple days and weeks here.
Absolutely.
I also coordinate our fabulous mentorship program that we have with a sorority and a fraternity from Texas A&M. So that's exciting too.
Absolutely, sure is. Well, already in just such a short period of time, Serena has really found comfortability with her role, and we're very comfortable with her. We love the job that you're doing. I want to tell everyone listening online a little bit about our resident program, and then lob a few more questions over to Serena in this way. But first, let me tell you that for the whole ranch, the homes, the school, the arena, anything we do here on this campus at all, we look at 3 core values. And those core values are that we give children the gospel of Jesus Christ first and foremost. We give a great education, as you've heard Serena mention a moment ago about even her boys attending Still Creek Christian Academy alongside our residents. So we provide a great education here, fully accredited. Children graduate here with a diploma that is good anywhere. And then finally, work ethic. That third leg of the stool, if you will, would be work ethic. And so partly just by being here on the ranch and having different responsibilities, whether it be feeding horses or working with our livestock projects for the county show, or just maintenance of the property, our kids get lots of opportunities to be well-rounded in lots of ways, but especially being responsible and having a work ethic. I think most of our kids at some point in time attend hay hauling university around here when we are growing our own hay for the horse program. And so, if I were a recruiter of some sort, be it a college or the workplace, I would definitely be looking for a Still Creek kid because of not only the things that they've overcome in their life, but the way that they've been taught to persevere and create a good work ethic. And so the gospel, great education, and work ethic are the 3 things that really round out our core values. That being said, we do help our kids long term. So Serena, would you just kind of speak to that just a moment? A lot of times people ask me, how long will a Still Creek resident be at the ranch? How would you answer that?
Well, we encourage kids to attend the high school here at Still Creek and really graduate from the school. And so our focus is long term. And we do express that to families when they show interest in our program, that we want to invest in their children's lives over a course of years and really just set that foundation as they enter into and transition into adulthood. And so we're in it for the long run with them. And like you mentioned, even after they graduate, we want to be able to support them as they transition into young adulthood. And so, we are, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you'll keep going and talk with everyone just a bit about our school as well, all the different activities, clubs, organizations, different things that they can belong to.
Yeah, absolutely. We do offer education from 4th through 12th grade. And for sports, we have girls volleyball, we have girls and boys basketball, and we also have girls and boys cross country. And we have lots of extracurricular activities. We have an archery club. We have a drama team. We have an art class that the students participate in. We offer ag mechanics, and included in that are all sorts of trades such as welding, wood shop, blacksmithing, mechanics. Usually the guys take that class, but some of the girls do too. And we're going to be launching a fishing club through the Texas Parks and Wildlife. So we're really excited about that. And we also have an equine program. All of our elementary students go up to our state-of-the-art horse arena twice a week, where they learn all the fundamentals from taking care of a horse, tacking and putting a saddle on, to actually getting out and riding the horse. My own son comes home and tells me how he's learned how to trot, and just a great opportunity for our elementary school kids to receive that. And then we also have an agricultural program where we work with the 4-H, the local 4-H program. Kids can raise pigs, chickens. We also have a ranch management class where students can learn all the ins and outs that it takes to run a ranch. So we have a whole lot that we offer.
We sure do. There is a lot going on, and you know, Serena had started talking about the athletics, and she did already mention that our boys did win the state championship in basketball for T-Cal Division 1A last week. So everybody is still riding high here on emotions from that. It was a wonderful weekend. We also had 3 of our girls here that co-participated, wanted to play basketball, but we didn't have enough for a team ourselves. We co-participated with Cornerstone Christian Academy here in town, and our girls also helped bring home a state championship in Division 2A T-Cal girls athletics this weekend. So wonderful, wonderful time. It's great when we get to see our kids have success. Well, another place that we focus on here at the ranch with our kids is in the counseling program. And we are so blessed to have 2 licensed counselors with us here on staff, Mr. Sean and Miss Patricia. And they work closely with kids in intervention plans, targeted intervention. They work with our house parents to help give them tools. And then they work with the house as a group at times. And so all of that said, they also help train us at times in different ways that we can teach and parent more effectively. We use a process around here that we call TBRI, Trust-Based Relational Interventions, that has been Dr. Karen Purvis's work out of TCU. We've adopted that so that we work on building quality relationships with our kids that make the difference in their life. But over everything else, again, is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that gospel has the power to change a kid's life. And so at this point, before we introduce some of our homes and some of our staff, let me just ask Serena, when we get to talking about a great program like Still Creek, a lot of times people want to know what the application process looks like. So could you walk us through that, and then we'll jump into the homes?
Yeah, for anybody who would like to learn more about our program, we'd encourage you to go to our website, which is stillcreekranch.org. And it has lots of information and pictures, and we also have a Facebook page. But when you're on the website, there is a link that says apply. And you click on that, and then it will say to become a resident. And if you click on that, that will take you to our online application, and you can fill that out online, and then submit it electronically. And we have a team who reviews applications, and then someone would follow up with you and the application in a timely manner. And if it seems like it's a possibility that your child would be a good fit here, and you're interested in us, then we would go ahead and schedule a face-to-face interview. So you come out with your child and see the ranch and meet us and have all your questions asked. And then we move on from there. And if it's all one big yes from both sides, then we set an intake date, usually not too far past the interview. And then the fun starts.
Absolutely. And so, as Serena has mentioned a couple of times about applying on behalf of your child, and so your child may be, you may be a CASA advocate, and you're advocating for your child, a child that you are working with the courts and with CPS to find a healthy place for them to live. It may be, and I would say that close to half of our placements here at the ranch are actually from difficult adoptions, whether that had been a foster care situation that turned into adoption, or perhaps where a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or someone came in to the custody of a child who had had a difficult time with their biological parents. Many times they will be the ones that will apply on behalf of their child. And sometimes we do work directly with agencies such as CPS or the courts to receive a child. And then finally, there are just strictly private placements that we will consider as well. but usually there has been a breakdown in the home biologically with parents, the way that God had intended for the home to look, that it didn't turn out that way for our children. And so when we say apply for your child, most often for our children, that application is not being placed by their biological parents. Every now and then, maybe a single mom or someone will, and so we love to be able to help even our single moms, grandparents, aunts, uncles, CASA advocates. We're glad to be here and be that resource. All right, before we meet some of our homes, I want to tell you on the screen here, you see one of our graduates from about 4 years ago. This is Mark Mabry, and we're so proud of Mark. Mark graduated from Texas A&M University in December with a degree in sports management. Now, that's not before he walked on to the Texas A&M football team. Now, that was in his sophomore year, and that is made all the more incredible by the fact that he never played a down of organized football, because his junior high and high school playing years were right here at Steel Creek Ranch, and we don't play football. So the fact that he got the opportunity to walk on to the A&M football team even for that year tells me that God loves kids, and he must especially love a Steel Creek kid. Well, Mark's no kid anymore. Mark's all grown up. He graduated, like I said, from Texas A&M last December, or this past December. And in January of this year, he married Caitlin Wynn. So we're very proud of Mark and Caitlin Mabry and the new family legacy that they are establishing now here in the Bryan-College Station area. Also got a wonderful progression of pictures here of Trey. Trey is one of our students here in the high school. He's a sophomore now, plays a mean game of basketball. He's a great kid, and we're so proud to have him in our New Beginnings home. And but just to give you an idea, you see from his first year to his current year just how much things change. And the outward appearance is just a glimpse at the inward changes. There he is with his house parent, Wes. He's gotten a bit taller, but my goodness, we're so proud of him, because what outward change you can see, I can tell you so much more about the inward change. Got to see him baptized in our swimming pool late last fall. So these are just a couple of examples of the kind of longevity that we seek to build with our kids here at the ranch. Well, it's time to introduce our homes. And so I'll introduce our 3 boys' homes. We have the New Beginnings home, which was the original Dansby home here at the ranch. And we have the Promised Land home, which serves currently as our relief home on the boys' side. New Beginnings, I'll back up a moment. New Beginnings home is staffed by Wes and Evelyn Priest, who've been with the ranch about 16, 17 years apiece. And so glad to have them here so long, and to have so much history with their time here. Their son, Jordan, is a senior at Steel Creek Christian Academy this year. So he grew up in the homes as well when Wes and Evelyn were house parenting years ago. The Promised Land home, Ben and Annie Anderson, and they have their little girl that lives there as well. And then they receive boys to the relief home. And then the Second Chance home, and that's Brian and Brittany Powell, who you'll be meeting here in a few moments. Serena, would you introduce the girls' homes?
We have the Freedom House home, which actually we've been staying in until our permanent housing was completed. So we've been enjoying that home, and it's great and a blessing. That serves as our relief home. So we are looking forward to who the Lord brings us for house parents for that home. And then we have Glory Inn, which is staffed by Josie and Larry Rowland. And lastly is our home called the Hope House. And Mike and Karen Lauser are the house parents for Hope House.
Absolutely. So let me just describe that each of these homes is just a normal home. It's a family style home. We have a committed Christian couple who house parents in the home. And when I say it's just a normal family home, I might say but just a bit bigger. And each of the homes tends to have more than one of each of the appliances we might enjoy in a single family home. So you'll find in most occasions 2 dishwashers, 2 sets of sinks, 2 sets of stoves, multiple refrigerators, because each of the homes houses up to 8 kids. And these are really, really neat homes with lots of space for our kids to grow and to develop. So with that said, I think it's time for us to meet one of our sets of house parents. Serena, I'll turn that over to you.
Yeah. Yep. We have Brian and Brittany Powell from, like you said, Second Chance. They work with our boys. Hey, guys. And they are they are a huge blessing for Still Creek, and they've been with us for 1.5 years, and hopefully for the next 20. Their family, they have 3 little boys themselves, and they're a young couple, but seem wise beyond their years. And so we are just very thankful to have them. And Brian and Brittany, we'd love to get to know you a little bit better.
Well, thank you for that, Serena. Yeah. Yes, we do have three little boys, 3 and under. We come from Georgia. We're not Texas natives, but we came to Texas specifically for Still Creek Ranch. We love it. And we do want to be here for the next 20. Like, we have no plans of going anywhere else. We absolutely love it here. Is there anything you wanted to share?
No, I think that sums it up.
That's us in a nutshell.
Serena, you have the Q&A here for them. Starting career.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So what made you choose house parenting as a career?
Well, we both, for a long time, have known we wanted to serve in some sort of ministry capacity. After, actually, at the end of my college years, I started working as an internship at a program. It was a short-term program for guys, and it was just shift work. I loved it, but after getting married and wanting to serve together, I left there. But we always knew that was kind of a direction we wanted to go, and we said, well, why don't we consider house parenting and find a place where we could do that, but together as a family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always loved working with youth and felt called to work with youth, and specifically with kids who have come from broken homes and crisis situations too. And it was something that we wanted to do together as a family, that we felt like we wanted to live every day doing God's work and meaningful, purposeful work. And so when we found out about house parenting, we felt like that was perfect for us. And after a lot of prayer, a lot of talking about it and sleeping on it, we felt very called to it. And so one thing led to another. We've ended up here at Still Creek.
Yes. Yeah. Now that you have 1.5 years now under your belt. Brian, what would you say are some of the joys that you've experienced, and then maybe some challenges?
So many joys. So some of the biggest would be when students make decisions for Christ, when their life has changed forever in that direction. Just this last year, I got to baptize a couple of our kids. So that was a huge win to personally be a part of that. And then just like a parent, we grow very attached to these kids, grow strong relationships with them. So every time they have a win, whether it's in school or sports or at home, that brings joy to us. When they find a place when they realize that Still Creek is offering them love and security that they might not have really had before, that's a huge joy. But it does come with challenges too. Like James was talking about, they all come from difficult backgrounds from some. I mean, there's a reason that they come here. And I think a lot of times people expect that once you take a kid from that, then because they're so grateful that all those behaviors go away. But it's not really the case. You know, they still have a lot of growing and learning to do. So a lot of times there's still things that they've learned and ways they've learned to live that we have to work through with them, and that can be challenging.
But the ranch is also equipped with, like James has mentioned, licensed counselors. The school, there's so many other staff members here that we're all on the same team. We're all here to help these guys out. So there's a huge support system for these students here, not just in the home, but everywhere throughout the ranch. Everywhere they go, they have, like, you know, even their teachers can be their biggest cheerleaders. And so with all of that, I hope, and we hope and pray that that helps them overcome these challenges together. We're all seeing wins together as a ranch in terms of, you know, having some wins and overcoming some of those challenges. And it can take years for some of them to overcome some really hard, deep stuff that they've carried, you know, with them through past trauma and everything. But that kind of ties into, like, one of the biggest joys here at the ranch is seeing them overcome something that they've been struggling with for years.
Yeah.
Amen. So just knowing what it's like being a house parent, and knowing it's hard enough taking, you know, providing for your own children, but let alone up to 8. So, and I'm sure it's a team effort between you two, but Brittany, I'll direct this towards you. How do you go about doing things like cooking for up to 8 children and keep staying organized? How do you tackle that?
Well, I'll tackle the organization one, but actually between the two, Brian is the better cooker. He's the faster cooker, so he does a lot more of the cooking. I do a lot more of the baking and the sweet treats. But in terms of the organization, well, we all, like, part of, you know, one of the core values being work ethic is we teach these guys that we all have a part to play in keeping up with the home. The home we have is rather large, and so everyone does have chores. So on the daily end of things, we've got chores. They've got to pick up their rooms, and we've shown them, we walked them through, like, you know, what the standard is and what we want them to see. And then it's also incredibly helpful on weekends, particularly we call it deep clean Saturdays in our home, where we just go and we, like, do some really deep cleaning stuff that, you know, we don't really have time to do during a really busy weekday with school and homework and cooking and everything. And also yard work around the house, fixing the house on the outside too. We have learned through being here, we can still learn. We're not professionals yet, but we're getting there. That organization is key, and planning a schedule and planning even when to clean helps a lot with organization and cleaning, all of that. And then you might be the better one to answer about cooking.
Cooking, it's the same, just a lot more. So, like, planning, I just think about if it was just the two of us, how much I would make, and then I multiply that by a lot. And and like James was saying, we have multiple stoves, multiple fridges, so it's the same, just takes a lot more time. You know, we have to plan in advance and generally prep, you know, well before dinner, and to get it done on time.
Awesome. Well, you're doing a great job at it. Your home is always great, very welcoming, and just a great environment. And, you know, with residential childcare, that is a great point, that not only do we, you know, it's important to have an organized home and a clean home and have great meals and things, but there's also a lot of value in providing that structure and stability, and just it teaches the kids a lot, and it also gives them a sense of safety and stability. And so it all just works together great. All right. Well, I have just one last thought for you guys. What would you say to someone who might be thinking about becoming a house parent? Yeah,
well, one of the biggest things we would say is it's definitely a calling you got to feel called to it. And if you do, then God is going to equip you and prepare you for it. He's going to take care of your needs. I mean, even coming here to the ranch, it was amazing seeing how God orchestrated every little detail for us to be here. And it was just like sign after confirmation that, you know, God wanted us here and we needed to be here. And like, we've never felt like this is, you know, that we need to go anywhere else. This is exactly where we need to be. And we don't really see it as a job or a profession. Like, we love it. We just love living life with these guys and being like one big happy family. So I think all of that can definitely tie into feeling like it's a calling, and that's something that God will help you feel called and prepared for.
I would say that it's hard. It's very emotionally and physically draining at times. So it's not, we're not just sitting around at home. So you have to know that it is a hard thing to do, but at the same time, it's so worth it. And that there's no perfect house parent, but if it's something that God is calling you to, or you feel like that's the direction that God is leading you, it's definitely worth it. We love what we do. We love knowing that we are making a difference that's going to, you know, not just impact these kids, but could change generations by changing their life. So,
yeah, so rewarding.
You truly are making that difference. So thank you guys for your time. It was great to get to know you better. James?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Brian and Brittany and Serena. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention something else that the Powells do with their kids. The Powells came to us loving the outdoors, and they, in their own marriage before they came here, were big into hiking and camping and these sorts of things. And they have shared that with the kids as well. And so they get the kids outdoors a lot. I know they make a lot of campfire meals. Hiking, camping, bushcrafting type activities. Brian's also taken several of the boys under his wing to teach them how to make custom knives. Just really some wonderful skills and activities outside of the house as well. So thanks again, guys, for sharing with us today. I do want to share that we do have one house parenting position open. And so take what Brian and Brittany said there. And if you or someone you know is interested in a potential job as a house parent, as Brittany mentioned first, it is a calling, though, more than a job. And you consider yourself to be called in that way. Look at our website, stillcreekranch.org/employment. stillcreekranch.org/employment. And inquire about that and fill out an application. We'd love to visit with you. That said, if you also have or know of a child that could potentially thrive in our program, we also want you to take a look at stillcreekranch.org/apply. And we would love to also visit about that application and interview process. So some of you may be watching this today and fit neither of those two categories. You're not here to be a house parent, and you don't have a child that would thrive in this situation, but you may be asking how you could support us. So today, simply, there's a few ways that you could share with your friends our newsletter. As we mentioned earlier, you could participate by volunteering here. We have groups that volunteer, individuals that volunteer here, and we are currently asking a lot of groups to volunteer and help stock our pantry. We hit our pantry pretty hard during the ice event that we had here in Texas recently, and also a couple of weeks before that, a quarantine situation that we had. And so we have large homes, and our kids eat a lot. So we would love to restock the pantry. And so you might want to check into that. As always, we're always open to donations, large and small, monetarily speaking. This place has existed through donations privately for 33 years now. and does not take government funding to do what we do. And so if you are interested in giving to Still Creek Ranch, you can go to stillcreekranch.org/donate. stillcreekranch.org, and there will be a donate button there, or /donate. Our Venmo is @Still Creek Ranch, or you can call us at 979-589-3206 and visit with someone here in the office who can take a payment over the phone. We just thank you so much for considering us as a place where you might give of your talents, your time, potentially your dollars, but we ask for something over and above all of that, and that is that we ask and covet your prayers. This place was built on prayer, and if you spend any time here at all, we would love to give you a tour. If you spend any time here at all, I hope you would get the message and the understanding that we're nothing here without the gospel, and that through prayer, this place has been built. I have a jar of keys over here on my table that we use to help remind us of how many times that Margaret used to prayer walk this place and press keys into the soil, claiming this as a sacred and holy ground for the purpose of raising children in the Lord. And so today we even still practice this. Occasionally we will take a key from this jar ourselves and prayer walk and claim this ground, this place, as sacred and holy for raising children as unto the Lord. Well, you can pray for us and support us daily in that matter. So to wrap up, I want to read one more scripture to you, and that comes from Isaiah 32 and verse 18. My people will live in peaceful dwelling places, in secure homes, in undisturbed places of rest. You know, in the book of Mark, we're told that Jesus looked at the crowd and he saw that they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Many times when I look at our broken world and the sin that is so rampant in this world, and how children are treated not as a blessing and a heritage from the Lord that we read about in Psalm 127, but harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd, well, then I'm reminded that that's exactly why we are here, like Isaiah 32:18 says, to give a peaceful dwelling, a secure home, and an undisturbed place of rest. We are so thankful that you learned about this undisturbed place of rest today, and we hope that you want to get involved as well. And until next time, for our next Lunch and Learn, we hope that you have enjoyed hearing all about a place that takes a look into home life and takes it very seriously. Thanks, and God bless you all. See you at the next Lunch and Learn.